Good morning children and welcome back to your chemistry class. We were studying about the separation of different types of mixtures and today we are going to talk about separation of liquid-liquid mixtures. Okay. So liquid-liquid mixtures, they can be separated either by a separating funnel or they can also be separated by fractional distillation method. Okay, so both the methods we are going to understand over here. So let us come to the first one, that is the separating funnel. Okay, the name of the method is also separating funnel and the apparatus that we use for this purpose is also termed as separating funnel, right? It is made up of a long glass tubes and it is provided with a tap at the bottom. It is somewhat like this. Don't laugh at my figure. It is somewhat like this. It has a tap at the bottom. So this is called as your separating funnel, right? So what kind of mixtures, liquid mixtures, are separated by this process of separating funnel? All those liquids which are immiscible. So what is the principle behind separating funnel? That the liquid mixture should be immiscible liquids. Okay, they should be immiscible liquids. Now why do we say that there should be immiscible liquids? Let's take for example over here oil plus water. So do you think oil is going to dissolve in water? What is going to dissolve in oil? No. So we can separate oil and water from this method of separating funnel. So what are we going to do? We take this liquid and we place it in the separating funnel like this, right? So what are we going to obtain? Here water, it is denser. Here water is denser and oil is lighter. Okay. So we will see that water settles at the bottom and this oil forms a layer on top. So when you open this knob, what will happen? When you open the snap, let the water come down. As the water reaches to the tap, then we should close the tap and we in the first vessel obtain the water. In the second vessel, once again, in the second part, once again, we bring another beaker, open the knob, all the oil will be collected in the second flask. Clear? So this is how separating funnel is done. So both the mixture, they are placed where? In the separating funnel. Clear? Then they are allowed to stand for some time. What do we observe here? The heavier liquid, it forms the lower layer, whereas the lighter liquid, it forms the upper layer. Let's take few examples, like I gave you oil plus water. Then you can even say chloroform plus water. Okay, then this was first example, this is second example. Let's take a third example over here, like mercury when dissolved in water. So mercury is a, right, whereas your water is water. Fine. So what did we study in all these reactions? That all these are immiscible. Soil with water or chloroform with water with mercury in water. These are all immiscible liquids, but itself they can be separated by using what method? Separating funnel. So what is the principle behind that? The liquid mixture should be immiscible liquids. And second point about it, that what is the factor on which the separating funnel depends upon? So if we write over here, separating funnel depends on the density of the liquid, right? So in oil and water, what is the density more? Or that of water. In chloroform and water, water will be more denser. Mercury and water, water will be more denser. So this way how we can separate the mixtures which also are not miscible into one another. Next we are going to talk about, then let us talk about the second method, that is the fractional distillation method. When do we use this fractional distillation method? When liquid mixtures are miscible liquids. Okay, miscible liquids means they mix into one another, then they are termed as miscible liquids. In this, distillation is done by using fractional distillation column, right? And applying the principle of what is the principle over here? Under the difference in the boiling points. Difference in boiling points, right? So let's take for example miscible liquids, right? So it can be alcohol plus water. Alcohol easily can dissolve in water, isn't it? So more example could be like your alcohol plus benzene. So these are the miscible liquids. So over here what do? We take a fractionating column and we place it into a distillation flask. Let me show you the diagram over here. So we take a round bottom flask and place it on a table. Okay. Then we take a fractionating column. This is attached to the round bottom flask, on top of which we place a thermometer. Okay, so I hope this is understood. And where is the liquid? Liquid is placed here in the round bottom flask. This is attached to a condenser. This is attached to a condenser, and over here we place the, right, in which we collect one of the liquid mixtures. Now how this happens, understand. In this round bottom flask, what is there? The liquid mixture. Suppose we are talking about alcohol and water. So what is present over here? Alcohol plus water is present over here, right? It is now heated. This mixture inside this round bottom flask is heated. The vapor starts rising up the column and it starts cooling, condensing into liquid form, and it is collected back in the beaker, in the first beaker. Then if there are two or more mixtures, then we bring a second beaker, third beaker, and so on. So now the hot vapors, when they start rising up the fractionating column, they come in contact with the vapors, then they transfer the energy to the cooler liquid and they change into vapor form again. Then the change of liquid to vapor and vapor changing back to liquid takes place where? In the condenser, right? And thus over here the vapor which was collected over here in the condenser changes into liquid form and it is collected in the first beaker. So this is the way how the fractional distillation is carried out. Once again, we take the different mixture over here which is a miscible liquid mixture. We place the fractionating column and we place the temperature over here. It is attached to the Liebig's condenser and we place the funnel over here. Right now, when we start heating, what happens? These vapors start rising up. So one of the vapors, suppose your water boils, at 100 degree, and suppose the alcohol, it boils at 65 degrees. Suppose, it's not exact, okay? So suppose 65 degrees. Now when you are heating, which temperature will you reach first? You will reach 65 degrees. So what will happen? Alcohol, as it reaches 65 degrees, it starts vaporizing. So when it starts, water is still inside, but your alcohol has started vaporizing. Gradually it will move to the first fractionating column, to the second, to the third, and as it is moving up, what is moving up? The vapors of alcohol are going up, and as they move into the Liebig's condenser, they cool and change back into the liquid form, which is collected in the funnel like this. Okay, so this was the fractional distillation method, in which we separate the miscible liquids on the basis of difference in their boiling points. Okay. Now, what is the use of this thermometer over here? With the help of thermometer, if suppose two liquids, they were mixed into one another, and I do not know what is the which liquid is mixed here. So with the help of thermometer, now I know that alcohol will boil at 65 degrees. So when boiling at 65 degrees started, I understood that there is alcohol over here. Waiting for 100 degrees, when the water starts boiling, understood that water was also present here in the form of a mixture. Clear? So thermometer gives us a great help in knowing the type of mixture which is present in the round bottom flask. We now come to the last kind of separation. Separation of liquid gas mixtures. How to separate liquid gas mixtures? The mixture of gas and liquid can be separated by what method? By the process of heating, right? So this method is based upon the principle of what? That the solubility of the gas in the liquid should decrease with the increase in temperature. What is the principle behind over here? The principle behind the separation of liquid gas mixture by heating, it depends upon the solubility of the gas in a liquid, which should decrease with the increase in temperature. Okay, so when the mixture of the gas is in the liquid state, the gas escapes out from the solution and the liquid solvent is left behind in the container. Clear? So for example, to separate a mixture of say carbon dioxide and water, right? So on heating, bubbles of carbon dioxide, they are formed, which leaves the solvent, that is water. How? By moving it into a drying chamber, where it is dried under using anhydrous calcium chloride, and finally we collect it by the upward displacement of air, right? So this is one method of separating liquid gas mixtures. We lastly come to separation of gas mixtures. Now here we don't have to go much in detail, but we should know the different methods that are used for separating gas mixtures. So they could be like fractional evaporation of mixtures of liquefied gases. Okay, then it could be by preferential liquefaction. And third one could be by using any suitable solvent, right? And the fourth method could be by diffusion method. So all this are the different methods to separate gas-gas mixtures. Okay. So with this we finish off with our chapter of elements, compounds and mixtures. Okay, so before I wind up with the chapter, let me explain you how to show the flow chart to show the separation of the components present in a mixture. So let's take one example over here. Suppose I take common salt, let's take one example where we are going to separate the different types of mixtures that are present, right? And how are we going to show it? Not in the form of writing down your paragraphs, but to show it in a form of a flow chart. So let's take common NaCl, then iodine and sulfur is taken. Okay. So what do we do over here? First we judge NaCl, iodine and sulfur is there. So all these three mixtures have to be separated. Okay, I'm showing it to you through the flow chart. So we say what? Add water over here, right? So when you are going to add water, what will you get? You will filter it. You get a filtrate and you get a residue. Okay, so what is a filtrate? A filtrate will be what? NaCl plus H2O, water that you had added over here. Is this clear? So your filtrate will be NaCl plus H2O, and what will be your residue? Iodine plus sulfur. Okay, now further when we are going to evaporate, then we will get two things. We will get NaCl and water will go away into the air. So we have obtained NaCl. Now iodine and sulfur have to be separated. So over here when we add carbon disulfide, so carbon disulfide is going to absorb sulfur. So two substances again will be formed. That is your, after filtration, filtrate and the residue. What is the filtrate? Filtrate is your carbon disulfide plus sulfur, and your residue is iodine. So iodine, which is left behind in the filter paper, NaCl is already obtained. Now further evaporate till dryness. All carbon disulfide will evaporate, leaving behind sulfur. So what do you see? At the end chain you should always obtain your mixture that is given in the question: NaCl, sulfur and iodine. Okay. So this is the way how we show the flow chart of the mixtures. So that's all for today. Thank you.